because the count. Well, hi folks, and welcome all of you to another one of our team talks. No surprise that today is the biggest we've ever had because Vanessa Rath is here from South Africa, live and well, because people are so interested in what your opinion on this subject, AI in recruitment, the tools, trends, and tactics you need to master now, and I'm going to introduce you, Vanessa. You've been a friend of Team for many years. You've supported us at conference, not only on being the talent hunter and giving us real advice on how to find those difficult candidates to fill those jobs, but now you've immersed yourself in the strange world of AI, especially in recruitment, to give us some guidance and tips of what to use, what not to use. You know, a lot of us were at the Rec Expo last week, and almost every other discussion and talk was about AI in recruitment, and that is educational when it's good. It's confusing when it's bad and it's not clear. So hopefully today we can unpick some of the things that's out there that we can practically use to help us, but also unpick some of the myths and mysteries of what's coming down the track, and alleviate some concerns as well with some of the attendees today. But there's over 200 of you on, so I really hope you enjoy that today. Vanessa, welcome. It's great to have you back again.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I was talking about Rec Expo. You're just back from Amsterdam, aren't you? And that was a big conference that you were presenting at and got lots from as well, I think, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Should we dive in with some questions? Cool. The AI strategy and the future of recruitment. Vanessa, you've lived through the evolution from sourcing to strategy, and you embraced yourself very early on with AI, didn't you? And on previous sessions that you've coached us through, you've shown the evolution of AI very visually with your boardroom story, which is really interesting. How has AI most transformed the recruiter's day-to-day role, and what changes are still to come? Of course, some people haven't embraced it at all yet, so it hasn't changed them. But others have dived in the deep end and have gone big. So it'd be interesting to hear what you see from the people you work with globally. So how is it changing their day-to-day role, and what changes are still to come?
Excellent, Simon. First of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. And yes, I spent last week in Amsterdam. I delivered a keynote around this very topic. It was literally, what parts of the recruitment process, and I broke it down into 8 different stages in the recruitment process. What parts should AI be doing? What shouldn't they be doing? But if we take a step back and we look at it from a global perspective, from what you have just asked me, is that we're seeing extremes. We really are seeing some people that are trained. I got back on the weekend, and on Monday I opened up 2 emails from 2 companies that say, we aren't even touching AI. We don't know how to use it. We've heard about ChatGPT. We have no idea. Can you please help us? To some other teams that I'm training, I chatted to another team out of Australia this week, and their feedback was they're already building perplexity spaces. They're using quite a few tools. What value can I add, from an AI perspective? And I think that, it really does come down to the individual. So I've seen the transformation, and as you say, AI has progressed. And one thing we can't lose sight about is that if you tried AI on something and it gave you a really poor, shoddy result a while back, go back and try again, because it's learning all the time, it's progressing, it's getting really good. So I think we need to realize is that a lot of what we get from AI is the way that we use it and interact with it.
No, that's good. Many recruiters are worrying about that AI will replace parts of their job or replace their job completely. You know, there are 180 recruiters who do business development that feel a little bit more confident than perhaps the resourcing partners. So, what aspects of recruitment do you believe could be automated and which can stay human?
Okay, good question. So, first of all, can you name one recruiter that got into the recruitment industry because they love admin? No
No.
one. Okay.
I
None
know
of
lots of recruiters that hate admin and do whatever they can
Exactly.
not to put a note on their CRM.
Exactly. 100%. So
Yeah.
this is what I'm talking about is let's use AI in a smart way. Let's use AI to do all of those admin intensive tasks, the things that are repetitive, the things that recruiters hate to do. Let's use AI to do all of those things because recruiters are people. Recruiters want to spend more time with other human beings. So some of the obvious ones, and this actually came out in Hung Lee's Recruiting Brain Food in September. He did a poll of, this time next year, what do you feel in the recruitment process is going to be completely, taken over by AI? And sourcing was the first thing that came up, which is really interesting. You asked at the beginning, I've done the pivot from talent sourcing to be an AI strategist now. And a lot of the reason was that I could see that AI could do a lot of what talent sourcing did. I'm not saying that you still don't need it. I still use Boolean pretty much every day and X-ray searches. But the crux of it is let's use AI smartly. Let's get our prompts right, because if we can use it to do the admin, the big question is, what are we going to do with that extra time? So are we going to spend more time having coffee dates with candidates? Are we going to try and spend more time with our clients? Are we going to host events? Are we going to become really well known in our niche that we are recruiting in? Are we going to build a network? Are we going to build community? Because that's actually what recruiters are naturally good at and should be doing more of, but never have time.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about the resourcing side of things, and Hung Lee was right to focus on that, I think, because there are tools there now that can do long listing in seconds. Whereas in the past, I remember some of my resources would spend hours trawling through with booleans on databases of job boards, trying to have a look at. Get together the long list, and then we'll trawl through. But they could get that list, those resources in seconds, and then spend quality time having proper qualification with candidates on what really motivates them, what drives them, what's pushing them to look away from their current employer, what will be the trigger points to make them make a move. Because the world is a rather different place now. Candidates are very choosy, very picky about where they want to go and about the features and benefits of what's coming forward. My poor son, who's just got a new job, had 7 interviews for the one that he went through. But on that journey, he was helped significantly by the resourcing partner that was supporting him through the process, making sure that he succeeded or had the best chance of success. And that's a really key skill, rather than just doing loads of horrible admin, boring searching. But if a resourcer can spend most of their time engaging and and building that community, then I think those jobs will be available, but it'd be more fun. Yeah.
Absolutely.
From your experience, what's the biggest mindset shift recruiters need to make to work within AI instead of resisting it? Now, you may have sort of covered a little bit of that already, but I'm throwing that one in as
No,
an extra.
not really. I think that this is really important because there are still a lot of recruiters who are doing the ostrich, putting their heads in the sand and just saying, I'm not interested in AI because I'm worried it's going to take my job. So I'm not even going to go anywhere near it to prove that I don't need it to do my job. And it's it's really becoming quite a negative spiral. So one thing that I always recommend is that you have to develop something that I like to call as passionate curiosity. And that literally, I think, comes part and parcel with me, my personality, my ADHD. And that is, using my curiosity to not stop until I find the answer is the way that you should be approaching looking at AI. So explore tools, go and see what they can do, try and break them, keep pushing it to its limits. I'm such a big fan of the University of YouTube. Teach yourself how to get the most out of these AI tools, because then you'll start to see that they start coming into their own. One thing that I've put together is my start.me list of tried and tested AI tools. I cannot tell you how much I've learned speaking to people who are founders, developers in the AI space, and how they are using AI in the background to make these tools for us recruiters.
Wow.
So it's all about taking that first step. So the mindset has to be passionate curiosity, to really just want to go and do more for yourself. Because I think a lot of people that are sitting inside big internal TA teams are actually not getting the training that they should be getting.
Right.
There's too much bureaucracy and red tape of which AI or LLM do we go with. So your team members are actually beautifully positioned to go and play with a variety of different tools, because they haven't got Big Brother breathing over their neck like a lot of people.
That's cool. And thank you for Jahisha for putting up the Vanessa's AI tools link for that. Now, we're going to get into some details, practical tools and real results. There's a flood of tools in recruitment right now. What are the top 2 or 3 that genuinely deliver value, and what would you be cautious about? And to start with, let's talk about sort of the big tools, the chat GPTs, the perplexities, etc., before we drill down into other stuff. But
that's a good question, because I'm often asked, I get, Van, what's your favorite AI tool? And my question straight back is always, what are we looking for it to do? Because I think too many people get really worked up about what is the best, what is the shiny new object, what can't we live without trying to figure out what is the business problem, what are we trying to solve here, and where are we trying to add value to our recruitment process. So, I mean, if we were to talk about the tools, as you said, the LLMs, the large language models, it all depends on what you're trying to do. So I'll give you a couple of tangible examples. I use OpenAI ChatGPT the most because I pay for it. And on that platform, I can build my own GPTs, which means I can train them, and I can train them to sound like me, which means that I do less editing on the other side once I've generated something. But if I want to go and find some information out from the internet, I want hard and fast, black and white results. I want something that I can refer to, a research study at my next keynote presentation. I'm going to go to Perplexity, because I believe that it's got a better integration with the internet. If I'm looking to have some really good content produced, so whether it's a blog or ideas for my newsletter, I'll go and banter with Claude, because I like the way that it writes, and I like the results that it comes up with. I love Gemini for the image generation. So, linked to Nano Banana, they create the best images by far. And then finally, just as I could talk about this for days, is if you want to go and do some proper sourcing of, who are the competitors for this particular company, or I'm looking for data engineers in London with this kind of experience, give me the results. I go to Grok, because Grok has very few guardrails. It doesn't seem to care about data or data privacy, and it gives you all of the names of people, the contact details, and whatever I'm looking for. So each user case is very specific to where I would go and which LLM that I would go and use.
That's brilliant. That I love that. And there, in 2 minutes, you've given people some tools to go whoomp. We've used and Andy Dunn introduced me to it, the deep research tool on ChatGPT, which I found amazing and really accurate now for doing some research into various markets, globally or locally. It'll break down, if you want to look at manufacturing and engineering recruitment in the UK, it'll talk to you about the companies that are doing stuff very successfully, the clients, I mean, and
Yep.
the type of hires they're looking for in the northeast of England, the southwest of England. It's astonishing the detail you get from that deep research. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed until I clicked on that little plus, and there was the drop down.
And now there's
most
more. I mean, you
Yeah,
must go and have a look at that study and learn function. I was doing some research recently. I was dealing with a client of mine in Denmark, and they kept on talking about cyber psychology. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. So I went to the study and learn under the little plus sign, and I
yeah.
got it to just build out an explanation for me about what is cyber psychology. And that's what I had a quick lesson on yesterday.
I won't ask you what cyber psychology is. We haven't got time. But I don't know either. But I might go there and have a look. Cool. How can smaller agencies with limited budgets start integrating AI effectively without getting overwhelmed or wasting money? Can they start to use and build agents themselves and little things themselves to make life
But
easier?
first of all, look, I want to touch on something that you said there. So the first thing is you've mentioned the word overwhelm a few times. And I
Yeah.
want to put people at ease to say that this overwhelm with AI is completely normal. You are not alone. There are a lot of people that are feeling the same way. I came back from a 2-day conference in Amsterdam on the weekend, and I literally have had the list next to me of all of the names of tools and different things I must try, and what I learned, because you can feel very overwhelmed. So I want to just touch on that and say, break everything down. The great African proverb of how do you eat an elephant in bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
literally start just going through things slowly. Rome wasn't built in a day, and slowly that feeling of overwhelm will actually start to dissipate. It will go away, but it is completely normal. I wanted to say that. Then the second thing that I wanted to say on your question, that you said, how are the smaller agencies positioned for AI? I'm going to be honest with you guys. You are going to be better positioned than the bigger companies, because the bigger companies are jumping through so many hoops, so much bureaucracy around which AI tools should we use, what should we be paying for, what about risk and compliance? All of these things have to be taken into consideration. So to be honest with you, the smaller companies, brilliant. Yes, you can get started straight away. My best advice with that would be for your team members would be find your favorite LLM for whatever your user case is. And let's face it, most of us recruiters use generative AI to generate content, whether that be a job description, interview questions, emails. Find the one that you like the best, that you can train to sound the most like you. I might be biased, but go with OpenAI, ChatGPT, and spend some time with it, because it's smaller companies are usually owner managed. You can decide in 2 seconds whether you want to pay for something. You don't have to go through finance and procurement and the legal team. Just do it. They don't tie you in for a long time. It's usually month to month, and just get started. It's actually so much easier for you. You can take it an extra step further. Simon, you said, can they build agents? Absolutely. You can go and have a look at a tool like N8N. Copilot has got agents that are built into it. I haven't played with those too much, but you can get agent mode in OpenAI, GPT. It's all about just going out there and trying it, and also being comfortable about what you are connecting to those agents. So if you're comfortable to connect your Outlook calendar so that it answers emails on your behalf, go for it. If you're not, don't. I'm not there yet. I don't let AI answer my emails, but I do use AI to dictate my emails and make them sound better, and then I copy and paste across.
That's cool. Actually, there were a couple of questions there when we started talking about. I pay for ChatGPT. I've got the 5 version, and when you put in your prompt, there's a plus sign. So somebody asked me where it was deep. If you press the plus sign, you get the drop down of deep research. Paul Corcoran asked that, and it gives you lots of options. Deep research.
Yep.
It gives you images. It gives you lots of other
Agent
things.
mode. You can
Agent
upload
mode.
files,
But
photos.
don't panic, because when you put some prompts in for deep research, it says, hang on a minute, I'm doing deep research. I'm going to be 15 or 20 minutes. So it really scrolls the whole net, and you see
Yeah.
all the sources it pulls data from. A lot of the stuff that we do for our members and our groups, obviously in the recruitment space, but it's maybe looking at different verticals. And I mentioned manufacturing, engineering. We did one for, you could look at the IT opportunities, IT recruitment in the States is another one, and you see all the sources it comes from, the REC,
Yep.
the SIA, you know, all the people that you can really trust to push out that
And what the
information.
nice thing with that is that you can actually fact check it. So you can go and click on the source link and say, is this taking me to
Absolutely.
the right place? And I encourage you to
Yeah.
do that, because sometimes it actually hallucinates and it makes up links and it makes up statements. I mean, we've all saw what happened last week with Deloitte in Australia, severely wrapped over the knuckles about putting together that report for the Australian federal government. And unfortunately, a lot of it was AI generated, and they cited incorrect books that had never been written. They misquoted people, incorrect names. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got some real world examples you've seen of recruiters using AI to uncover hidden talent pools that others completely miss? That would
Yes,
be
absolutely.
cool. As the talent hunter, I thought you'd know that this is an easy one for you.
And I think that the simple answer to that is actually linked to this question that Devi has just asked is, do you know of any CRMs that integrate well with AI tools? Now, how your existing CRM or ATS can integrate with an AI tool is through something called an API. So that API can be built, or sometimes it's actually already in place. And yes, there are some fantastic AI tools. If you look at that start.me list, you can see that there are, let me quickly find the right subheading on that. There's data enrichment tools, which you can go and have a look at there. And those tools will help to enrich your data. So what a lot of people forget is that you just asked me, Simon, you know, can you go and find new talent pools?
Yeah.
You can't create people. Just because you
No.
have AI, it's not like Dolly the sheep that now you can go and clone a whole lot of people. I still think that old world and strong talent sources will be able to find those themselves. It all depends whether the LLM can actually go and search into those platforms, because some of them have blocked access, etc., etc. It's a bit of a story. So what I would suggest is, if you've been in business for a long time and you have a very well-stocked ATS or CRM, especially in a niche, look at an AI tool that can actually go and search into your existing data. Because when I'm helping a lot of my clients with the AI strategy and AI consulting, people don't realize the gold mine that they are actually sitting on. And just getting an AI functionality on top of your CRM or your ATS is really, really fantastic. So I haven't found any new like pools of talent out there that now are suddenly being unearthed by AI. If you stick in a certain industry, you'll know them. So for example, if you are in the AI or the machine learning space, there are new communities that are coming up. So for example, Hugging Face is a great community to go and look at, but that wasn't unearthed by AI. People know where that is as talent sources.
Yeah. Should we just have a look at Briley's question there? Flip side of the coin on this. She leads a TA function for an engineer firm. How do we protect our business from overuse of AI from candidates, CVs, interviews, etc.? Yes, lots of CVs
So this
now
is,
are being written
yeah,
by AI, aren't they? There's truth, damn lies, and CVs.
absolutely. But I mean, to
Yeah,
be honest with you, if we go back to that question by Briley, is
yeah,
that that's been happening for years. People have paid CV writers
yeah,
for years to
yeah,
rewrite their CVs. They've, you know, got other people to check cover letters.
yeah,
And I think that is what is happening. And what we're doing at the moment is we're facing the potential situation that's already happening, where you've got the candidates who are looking at websites like Handshake, and they're using Handshake in order to, you know, apply for jobs on their behalf. So the
yeah,
candidate is sleeping, and next thing, there's a whole lot of jobs they're applying to. The recruiter wakes up in the morning, their job advert hasn't even been on LinkedIn for 24 hours, yet they've got 1,500 applications. So now you've got AI on the internal TA side that's actually going through this absolute tsunami of candidate CVs that are coming in. So now we face the danger of, you know, what tools can we use? And yes, there are great tools for that. Have a look at my list. There's a great tool called Recruitment X. Click on the link, do a demo. It goes through thousands, hundreds of CVs, and it will stagger them for you, and it will rank them according to certain criteria and questions that you put in. There's a lot of tools like that. So I think it's almost like we're fighting AR with AR. You've got to find the right user cases for these, but we're not going to stop the candidates from using them.
No.
When it comes to interviews, it's a little bit more difficult, and I really am encouraging companies to do at least one of the interviews in their interview process in person.
Yeah, of course, that's value. Anyone who's missing some of the things that we're talking about, and Vanessa's throwing in lots of great tools in conversation. This is recorded. You can get a copy of this. Jahish will send you individually a copy of this after the event, so you can watch back again areas on the session to pick out all the relevant information that you might need. If you were hiring recruiters today, Vanessa,
Yes.
what new skills or traits would you prioritize in this AI-driven landscape? So you're going to hire new people, and you might be looking for something different now.
I am. I absolutely am. So I do sit on a lot of panels of companies and NGOs and help with things like this. So Simon, to be honest with you, I think, and what I'm seeing, and I actually read a brilliant report out of the US on this morning, is a move away from the traditional hiring, which is the person matches the job title in their current job, they have the qualifications and the credentials, to skills-based hiring. And for me, I've spoken about it before, passionate curiosity is a skill. Being brave enough to go and teach yourself how to use new tools is a skill that I would rather have as someone who's got this insatiable desire to go and learn and better themselves and get stuck into the University of YouTube. I would want that over a degree right now, because I do believe, and I know that there is value in a degree, but there's a lot of people who are sitting in financial situations where they can't afford the degree, yet they are brilliant because they've had to go and find out information for themselves. And it's that inquisitive mindset that I would be looking for in an individual these days. Someone who's not going to sit back and say, right, what's this company going to give me? But let me go and see what I can find out and what I can teach back to my team. That's what I want.
Cool. How can business leaders help their teams embrace AI confidently rather than seeing it as a threat? So it needs the boss to step up a little bit, doesn't it? And calm that, and also give some direction as to the journey you want to take the staff on.
So it's actually really funny, because I got an email the other day from someone who's going through my online academy at the moment. And CC'd on the mail was the boss of the company. And when I got the email, I thought, I've spoken to this person before. I've had many email interactions with them. They've been in my training sessions. They've used AI to write this. So I wrote back and I said, I really appreciate this. Thank you for your feedback. However, I would have preferred if you had written it yourself and you hadn't used ChatGPT to write it. I obviously ran it through a checker to see whether it had been written by ChatGPT. It was quite a long email. The boss immediately came back and said, Susan actually doesn't use AI. None of us use AI in the business. So when I sent her the screenshots of actually Susan does use AI, because this has completely been generated using ChatGPT, she was shocked. And I think that that's what's happening a lot at the moment. To paint the picture is that a lot of companies just assume, oh, they're not using this, or yes, we are using this. But there's a lot of people that are using AI, but using it badly. And that's why, I'm sure you've seen it, your inbox is flooded with loads of emails. Everyone's writing a blog. Everyone has a LinkedIn newsletter, because AI is now there and it makes it easier to produce these things. So my advice to business owners at the moment would be, get some training into your team. Teach your team how to be fantastic prompt engineers. Because being a good prompt engineer means you get a better result. You're using the AI far more effectively, instead of just hoping that your team are using it. But the truth is, a lot of people are using it, but then wasting hours after producing something to edit it. What a complete waste of time. If you had got your prompt right up front, you would have got a much better result. And these are things which the managers of teams don't really understand. And I know that there's been quite a few budget issues, especially in the UK over the last 12 months. And we don't have budget for training. But for me, it's I don't know, it might be biased, but it's really a non-negotiable, because you either then face the embarrassment of people using it badly and making the company look a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I completely agree. We at Rec Expo, Jeremy Snell ran a session on the importance of investing in learning and development for all people with consistency, not when they're broken, and it has to be
Absolutely.
consistent and invest in something that will create an incredible productivity and some
Yeah.
outcomes as well. Now, you've built a global reputation on sourcing. How can recruiters keep their sourcing edge when AI can do so much of that at part of that role? So
So
it's a tricky one.
it's actually really interesting, because I still use the old school sourcing methodologies. And bearing in
Cool.
mind, I get people contacting me of, I suspect this of my partner. Can you do some research online? Or I've got someone who's employed, go and do some research. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff too. I will never go to AI for that kind of thing. I think that the way that you think as a talent sourcer is really important. The way that you approach things, the way that you are strategic, is really important. And that actually makes you a better user of the AI. So anyone out there who is a talent sourcer and is thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Talent sourcing isn't going to be a thing in the future. I will say this categorically, is that I do believe that in the future, there are going to be fewer recruiters. There are going to be fewer talent sources, because a lot of the role can be done by AI and a lot of it could be automated. So how do you stay relevant and how to make sure that you are still employed in the next 5 years is start using AI to make you more brilliant as a talent sourcer or as a recruiter. So that for me is the key trick here, is that don't sit back and say, I'm not going to touch it. I don't want to go anywhere near it. If you can do the job of 3 people because you use AI, and there's enough free AI tools out there at the moment, do it, because that's what you have to do.
You might be able to fill 3 more jobs for the time it takes
Exactly.
to fill one. Think about the ROI on that.
Yeah.
Moving a little onwards to vision and leadership, looking ahead, say 3 years, what does the ideal recruiter look like, and how can today's leaders prepare their businesses to thrive in the future? And that is a tricky one, but
Yeah, because my
I
crystal
think
ball's in the shop. If I thought that
yeah,
I needed it, I wouldn't have sent it
I know.
in.
But
Yeah,
how?
it is a
What will it
tough
look
one.
like? It might only be a year that we talk about this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually watched an interesting interview last night with Mo Gaudat, who I've got a lot of respect for, ex-Googler. And he said that AGI, which is, artificial general intelligence, is actually could be here as soon as next year, which is an interesting take on things. But from a recruiting perspective, is what is it going to look like? So if we say 3 years, as you initially said, it's going to look very different. I do believe that a lot of things which recruiters do, from screening CVs, matching CVs, all of that can be automated. You can use AI. So where does that leave the recruiter? Now, ironically, 7 years ago, I started my own consulting business, my own training business. I've been going on about personal brand. I mean, Simon, you flew me all the way to the UK last year to speak at your conference. We'd never met in person because of having a strong online brand, having an opinion, those kind of things. And that is why when AI gets so good that there are so many recruiters out there using AI tools to generate amazing outreach messages, what is left for the candidate to do? And that is to look at who sent the message. So go and have a look and see who has a good presence on LinkedIn, who knows my industry, who's got, a ton of recommendations from people who've been happy with his or her service. I'm going to go with that person. So again, if you up your human and you start working really hard on your online digital brand and you start standing out across all platforms, because don't just think that it's just restricted to LinkedIn. I mean, I even have a TikTok channel these days. But what I'm saying is stand out, add value. And that for me is going to be the key differentiator. Recruiters who do that will be the ones that internal teams are still approaching and saying things like, we want you to assist us with our recruitment, because you have the network, you know the community, you know exactly what we're looking for. And that is why those agency recruiters need to stay relevant and connected.
Well, that's yes, I think you're bang on with that. The ones we're seeing succeed in this really tough market now are the ones that are out there, creating additional value. They're giving
Yep.
Insights constantly to their clients and their candidates in the market, because the clients and their candidates see what's happening in their world. The great thing
Yeah.
about a recruiter that really understands his or her market gets a view on the much wider market, and they can talk about where
You become
the
that trusted advisor partner, as
yeah
opposed to just someone who is, the CV shuffler, just trying to plug a hole. But
yeah
if you can add real value, bring data to the table, and be a good human being, so again, up your human, it's really important,
I I I,
then
I
that is the recruiter of the future.
Kalpesh stole that. I was gonna reuse that myself. I
You can
love
use
that.
it.
Up your human. Well, we're going to use it, and we'll credit you with that.
Yep.
But that's what recruiters should be doing, and growing constantly. Um, you talked about different ways that you use, and I got things wrong with your walking, didn't I, earlier when we were discussing before the session started. You'll go on a walk, and am I right in saying, did you say you're dyslexic, or there's something like that, because you use notes, don't you, and all your
No,
audio?
I just hate typing because it's
Oh, you
boring,
hate
and my
typing.
brain thinks about 10 times faster than my fingers type.
But you tell me the story about when you go for a walk, you might use your note taker while you're walking around thinking about a subject, and then
Yeah,
you take that note taker and you push that through some AI tools to create blogs and content, and
yeah,
that would
yeah,
normally take you an hour to 2 hours to do something like that,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
you've done it on a short walk. So just
Yeah,
explain that
I'll give
process
you an
again.
example. So
Yeah,
I was
please.
contacted by a journalist from recruiter.co.uk magazine while I was in Amsterdam last week. And she said she's got a tight deadline. She needs it by the close of business on Monday. And she sent me a list of about 20 questions that I needed to answer. So the first thing I did was I got the email, I copied and pasted the 20 questions, I fed it into my chat GPT, and I said, ask me these questions one by one. When I'm finished, put them into a table. Make sure that they sound like me. I don't want you to change what I'm saying or what I'm trying to get across. And then I want you to put it into a table. So instead of sitting there and typing out the answers to like 20 complex questions about, the future of recruitment and, kind of like the questions you've been asking me, my brain would just shut down and would be like, I haven't got time for this. I've just been away
Yeah.
for a week. But because I could talk to it, I could get the answer out in 10 minutes. She had it before 9 o'clock in the morning in the UK on Monday.
Wow.
So it's about your smart usage. I'm going to give you another example that we spoke about, Simon, is that, one of the things I asked before we went live on this is, please, would you give me this, the total recording of this discussion we're having? Because people don't realize is how you can repurpose content using AI now.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the video that we've got. I'm going to put it into one of my AI tools. It's on my list. It's called Reap, R-E-A-P. And what it does is I can take the link to the YouTube channel that this is going to go on, and it's going to cut it into about 25 different bite-sized pieces. And then I'm going to schedule it so that it posts automatically to my TikTok channel and my YouTube shorts. So I've already given you all of the information. I'm now going to get a month's worth of content out of these, bearing in mind I do about 3 or 4 of these a week. So I always have good content, hopefully. After that, what I'm going to do is I can take the YouTube video, I can get the transcript of what I said, and I can go and create a blog about what we discussed about. I can then take the blog and I could use another GPT and I could say, let's convert this blog into a newsletter, because I've given it all the content. All it's doing is it's repurposing it to be 1,500 words in a blog, 800 words or thereabouts in a newsletter, and it still sounds like me because it is my ideas, it's my content. Simon, you've been a great host, so you'll be mentioned. Your questions will pop up verbatim because I'm not going to say try and change this. I'm not interested in your input, as an AI. But straight away from one 45-minute presentation that we're doing this afternoon, I am covered with content for a lot of things that I do, probably for the next, definitely until the end of October.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for a great session today. I should say also, because of last year and flying you over, having never met you, we're doing it again for our conference next summer, June the 5th. But also, what you've agreed to do for us as our team friend is you're doing once a month. You're doing a little video on one new tool or an enhanced tool that's helping recruiters be the best they can be. So watch out for those. Every month there's going to be a video on Teams Network for Vanessa, giving us more advice, giving us more guidance and more direction in the mystique of the AI world. So thank you for that. And we're doing, I think, a couple more of these LinkedIn Lives. We're doing one every quarter, aren't we, before a conference, just with shaping up how things have moved. You actually said to me when we had that first conversation, I said, what's your subject going to be when we talk about when you come to the conference? And you said, goodness sake, Simon, it's going to be 10 months time. The world will have changed with AI since then.
And it had.
It has. I'll work it out in April or May, and then you'll have your content because it'll be up to date and completely live, which is why we're doing the monthlies, which was your brilliant idea. Well, thank you everyone for joining. If you're not connected to this amazing lady, then do so. It will save you hours. It will educate you. It'll make your everyday easier. So, Vanessa, great to have you back.
Good to see you, Simon. Thank you.
Look forward to the next one, and thank you all for joining. If you want more information on team, contact us as well. You will. The wonderful Jahisha would have put loads of stuff in there about team. There you go, bang. And see you again soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for
Cheers,
now.
Bye, Simon.
Thank
Bye.
you.